Thanks, Mike, for being with us. I wanted to have you on and share with people how it was for you with the Easy Writer program and why you joined it, like all the good, juicy stuff about the process to get your book to bestseller and why you chose not to do it yourself and to join a program. So if you want to share a little bit of background on yourself.
Sure. The first thing I want to just share how I met Vicki is I had just started writing my first book in October. After connecting with Lisa Nichols of Speak and Write for the first time, I've already known about her, but I decided to dive in the Atlanta Speak and Write. But I started my book in October. And I listened to the conference and I connected with the people through networking. And lo and behold, I met Vicki in Atlanta to find out that she lived in Michigan.
30 minutes from each other.
And it was such a great conversation to know too that she was a book coach and I was writing a book. So after connecting and actually going out and looking at the program, I said, wow, everything she's talking about, I have it in my mind, but how do I get to where I need to be? And when I started out, I think that I shared with Vicki one of my great experiences with her story writing bonus. Really put me in and got me engaged to writing the book. I knew the stories I wanted to tell. I had so many stories and how I wanted to put them in perspective of how do I get to the points that I want to make in my book. So doing that, just seeing that bonus there kept me in line, even with the obstacles I had during the way, that I was going to get this book out. And like a lot of us, we have the book in our mind or our belly, and it hangs around for a while until we write it. We actually get it on paper. So I was excited to start that process and go through those modules. And even when I got stuck on one part of the module, whether it's getting the story structured together or marketing or seeding, I can always go to another module to get me back to get me back in line. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes.
So why was it that you decided to choose this program over any others that were out there?
Personable. I think that you presented it in a personable way that it felt that I can have a relationship with someone to actually tell me where I need to continue, even if it was a short video clip or some of your little video clips in a program. It kept me on target. And I just felt more personable with the program, whereas you had some of the other programs that I did look at by way that was double the cost. And I didn't feel that I could have a connection. I just felt that I can, in some way, connect with you or the program in a way that it was going to help me. So
yeah, I was looking. I should have had your book next to me. I'm sure you probably have a copy of it somewhere, right? Hold it up.
Yeah, I can pull mine up if you want to see it. There it is.
Oh, look, you got all sorts of tabs and everything on it.
This is the tab, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look for it. But you know how we do on these things where we're dressed really nicely on the top and we're wearing sweats on the bottom.
Right. Yes, I know.
So I'm not standing up right now.
Yeah. I just kind of from working out myself, so I know what you mean.
Yeah. So tell me about the process of actually writing the book. Did you feel like before you started, you were like some awesome writer and that you didn't need a lot of help? Like, I'm asking this because sometimes people say, well, I'm not good at grammar, or I didn't do that well in English. English wasn't my favorite subject.
Oh, I can relate to that totally. I have a financial background, and anyone know about financial folks, we are technical writers. We don't focus on where commas and those type of things. So I had to break that habit of just understanding, okay, first let's get started. And Vicki assured me through her modules that once you start writing and writing how you sound and how people want to hear you, you'll get over that. And the editor they would clean up all that other stuff because you have to get started and you had to really, you had to make it feel real. And I think that was the best part of that process of understanding that I can do this and I can make those adjustments, but I wanted to feel like that someone can pick this book up and say, hey, this relates to me. And they don't have to break down. There are some people that are still technical writers because we we have to think about we write in report form, so we had to get away from that. So I was pleased to see that. Yes.
Yeah, and I really loved reading about your grandma's influence on you and how you were able to weave all that stuff together, because it's about weaving the story with the learning, with the steps, with the content that makes
Right.
it interesting and makes it a page turner. And your book really is a page turner.
Right. Yeah. Once I started, like I said, when I got into the story, and then I got to feeling more comfortable just to write how I felt, it just flowed. And there were some tweaks that I had to make with the editor, but the story itself stayed the same. And
Mhm.
I was glad to see that I got that rhythm, and you
Yeah.
know,
So
yeah.
did you have any fears come up? Like, were you afraid of any of the tech pieces? Did you feel like maybe somebody wasn't going to like your story? Anything like that?
Well, yeah, because I had to toy with how I wanted to actually put the book in the perspective of, do I want principal points, or do I want a memoir? Do I want, and as I look through how just the communication through the book, I found the fear that I did have, I kind of molded into, this is what I want. And I started telling the story. And I knew that my chapters will break down the habits that I was trying to talk about. But it was important for me. And in the moment's time, I kind of shift away from that fear. When I got near the midpoint of the book, I was like, okay, I got to keep going. And the support, again, with the Facebook group, and listening to other people,
Mhm.
I felt more engaged that what I chose to do was the right way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So how easy was it for you to get the book on KDP?
Uh, well, it wasn't, following the instructions was much easier than what I saw earlier, because I kind of like mapped out what I needed to do.
Mhm.
But I went back and the video, between the video clip and the modules,
Uh-huh.
and the guidance that they gave me, it was a good, really easy process in terms of how I expected. Okay, I was nervous about the timelines I'm working with it, and I'm thinking I need a few more days, but I got to it. And I was pleased at that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So when you started writing your book, or I should say, because that was before you started the Easy Writer course, right? Because you had
Mhm.
already come up with an idea. Did that idea change any once you got into the pre-book writing phase of how does this connect? How does a book connect to your business?
Yes, it did, because I was making it more of a principal book story, and I didn't know how. When your first book, people want to know about who are you, and I started writing just principles. You need to do this, you need to do that, and I thought about it, and I wasn't as going to be as transparent.
Mhm.
Once I read your story, and I saw how easy it flowed, and the transparency that you had, I kind of gained a little more understanding of what I wanted to do, other than just making it principles and I'm here and I'm going to tell you about my past
Mhm.
and I'm telling you how to fix it. I wanted to be real to my audience, to tell them what I went through, and now how I embrace habits to go forward.
Yeah.
And it would lead into other books around habit success or habit matrix or whatever the case may be. But I did change in terms of how I was thinking after I got into the program.
Cool, cool. And
Mhm.
lastly, tell me a little bit about the bestseller launch day.
Yeah, after you, what is 2 or 3 days after you have your stuff in and you're ready to go, the excitement was there, and it's just we still doing the things, working on sending out emails, informing people that they can get this book at a discounted rate, and the value it would be to them and to get engaged. But you still had that fear of, I did this, am I going to be a bestseller? All the way to a point of just sitting there watching, like, when is this going to happen? So when you sit and you start seeing the whole process come in play, and I think for three categories, I was in the bestseller, and I saw it move up.
Yeah.
And I saw some very interesting people in that category at the time. What really got me excited, like Tim Tebow, RuPaul, and one category, Who Moved My Cheese, because I thought, I was thinking I wanted to be in some common categories: motivational, success, those type of things. And I knew it would be more competition there, but I wasn't that sure of how I would do until, I saw a couple. Vicky was on the phone and reminded me, no, I was looking at the wrong one and the wrong information. So that was a very, very great, exciting day for me and my family. It
Yeah.
really was.
So
Yeah.
you kind of had some doubts all the way up until
Yeah.
that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I wrote it off. I said, with anything, I got the book done. And even if it don't make bestseller, I'm happy that I got the book done. And I
You were preparing
basically,
yourself for a consolation
yes,
prize.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
How did you end up celebrating that day?
Oh, my wife and I, first I got to get her to see that she said, wow, so we celebrated that day. And then we later went out to dinner.
Yeah.
And later my grandchildren hosted my book launch, the
Yeah.
actual official book launch and discussion. So that whole process was so fun and exciting.
Well, after that, what have you been up to?
I got invited to Maya Saya's support group. It's like Lupus Foundation.
Mhm.
I went there to speak as a keynote speaker, and I had a book signing afterwards, as well as NABA, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. I had a book signing at a 5K, and it was a great turnout. My grandchildren before the warm up sold like 17 books, and I got to really talk with people there. And I've been jobs clubs. I've been a couple places, and I got some other events to come up. So the word and then in my office too as well, they have a book club, and I was just asked about it before I retired. Do I mind having my book featured for that book discussion? Which that's exciting.
That is super exciting.
Yeah.
So, last parting words, if there's somebody out there who's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll do it later, or, I've had this book in my head, I don't know if it's the right time, if I should jump in, what would you say to them?
I would say, think of what I've always tell people and some of my clients, as far as being coach, a change in your attitude will shift your mind shift. Your mindset will shift into not just wanting, but doing, and take advantage of the time now, because it's not as hard, because it's harder when you don't start. I would say that you seek out this program, and it has the guarantees, and you
It
will
does.
hear from the people that have enjoyed being a bestseller, that this is the time to really get involved and write a book this time of year, and have that as your New Year's resolution, that you are a best-selling author.
What do you think the biggest benefit has been from you actually having this book done and out now?
Well, first you can say best-selling author, and the recognition,
Yeah.
the recognition that you get for people as an expert in terms of the field that you're doing, and you are, invited to many events. I really enjoy that part of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Mike, for being on. I really appreciate you sharing with everybody because, it's one thing for me to talk about the program and all the things that I guarantee and stuff, but it's another to actually hear somebody else who's gone through it and had success like you have. So thank you for your
Yes,
time.
yes, you're so welcome.
All right.